a finger down if you're minding your business on a Sunday in the apartment that you just moved into a month and a half ago, and you heard banging on the door and you thought it was your door, but it was actually your neighbor's door. And the landlord has been trying to contact him for the last 2 days because his water is leaking into the bottom apartment, and he won't answer. He won't answer any calls, any texts, any emails. And he's been there for 11 years, changed the locks, and the landlord has not been able to go inside. And so he brought a locksmith and he broke through the first door, and then he called the cops because he was scared and he didn't think the man was in there, so he wanted a police escort into the apartment. And once they got to the top of the stairs, the man started to threaten to shoot them and the cops. And so those cops called for backup. The U.S. Marshals came and then the SWAT team came. You get a call from a detective outside telling you not to move around your apartment. Stay in one spot. Your son is asleep, by the way, and you're told to sit with the lights off. Do not turn them on. Do not turn them off. Don't go by any windows. Stay in one place and stay from the farthest connecting wall between you and this man's apartment. So you do as they say, and it takes them 3 hours to come up with a plan while everyone else has already been escorted because they have back doors and side doors, and you're upstairs and you have no side door. You only have one entrance, which definitely is a fire hazard, but it's okay now. So it takes them 3 hours to come up with a plan to get you and your son out. They come up through a side window on a tall ladder, and you're too big to fit through the window because it's tiny. It's only like 8 inches, and my fat is not fitting. So they have to take your son through the window without you, and the harness doesn't fit him. So you have to trust a man to take your sleeping child out of a window and then bring him you don't know where because you're not there. And then you have to wait for the SWAT team to come back through your window to gear back up because they couldn't wear their gear through the window because it was too small, and there's big guns on your bed. And you have to get escorted out by them with all the guns around you, and you have to hope that this man doesn't try to murder everybody. And so you get out of the apartment, you get thrown in a cop car with your son, and you have to wait. You waited out for a couple hours because you thought that, he was going to give up and he was going to come out, but he really didn't, and it was 20 hours before the police got in. They went in through your bedroom window and then out through your back porch, broke your back porch window, ripped the wall out in your hallway to try to see if they could get into his apartment that way. They couldn't. They went through your attic to try to get in through his apartment. They couldn't, and they left everything a mess. Your back window is pulled out, and then the wall connecting your back porches is ripped apart. So now this man, if he comes back into his apartment, he can now just look into my apartment and look into my back porch. Yeah. And the SWAT team was hanging out in your apartment. There was pizza boxes left. They left the toilet seat up, and you're the only one in there, and you're a girl, so you don't pee with the seat up. Okay, so quick little story time. So I went on this date a couple of weeks ago with this guy, right? And while he was cool, I didn't really feel the chemistry. So I told him that not only that, but he just made several sexual jokes. And I was like, yeah, I'm okay on you. Because I asked you not to, and like, it was a big deal. So whatever, that passed by. I ain't heard from him. But I'm kind of horny, you feel me? I need a little sexual healing, so I hit him up. I was like, you want to? And he's like, hitting me where it hurts, but I don't want any trouble. So that made me pause. Any trouble? What? We didn't have no beef. I don't understand what you're talking about. And I was like, what kind of trouble? Even though you were horny, you were cool enough because he was a horny toad. Because he was hornball. Okay, if you want to, we can. Didn't I just look up top? I do. Then I get there. You can come over, but you can't tell anyone. Yeah, I'm confused now. Tell anyone. First of all, I'm pushing P, almost accused. Second of all, tell anyone. And if I did, your family, mom, dad, or they'll go crazy. And at this point, I text him. I was like, I'm grown. I don't know what you're talking about. He then calls me. Do you get where I'm going with this? He thought I was someone he was texting before. And so when he called me, he just didn't make any sense. He was like, yeah, I took this girl out on a date. Her mom popped up, and, it was just really weird. And I was like, her mom? That doesn't make sense. Why would someone's mom pop up? Why would someone's mom pop up? Why would someone's mom pop up if they still lived with their mom and they were underage? Chris Hansen, come get his nasty, lock him up.
Y'all, please, whatever you do, do not use Airbnb ever again. Just delete all of your card information. That'll be important. And delete the app. I booked a reservation for my boyfriend's birthday. Innocent little thing. Airbnb charged my bank card that I made the reservation with, as well as a credit card on file from like years ago. So they charged me twice for the reservation. So instead of a $400 reservation, I got charged $800 for the same reservation. So I call, I'm like, hey, can we fix this? No, you have to dispute it with your bank. It's between you and your bank. Okay, so dispute it with my bank, and Airbnb comes back saying it's a legit charge. I'm sorry, where are we missing the connecting piece here? So I prove to my bank, I provide all of these documents. It's not legit. Deny it. Take that money back. So now Airbnb comes back to the bank this time and says, oh, well, we've refunded her directly. Am I getting bonged? I'm like, what? So I call Airbnb back. I'm like, hey, can I speak to a manager? Like, this is getting sticky. No, ma'am. I can have a specialist reach out to you within 48 hours. Okay, thanks. Did they reach out to me? No. A week later, did they reach out to me? No. They kept closing my case. I kept calling back. I've called over 20 times in the past 2 months. So, this morning, call the bank. I'm like, what do we do about this? The bank's like, oh yeah, let's call them, because at this point they've sent me like a fake little thing saying that they've reimbursed me, and they didn't. So we're talking to the girl on the three-way call at Airbnb, and I don't think she realized it's a bank. She's like, yeah, we refunded that money on this date, which was a different date than they originally told me. And the bank's like, no, it's not here. She's like, oh, let me put you on hold. 5 minutes goes by. Oh, I'm gonna have a specialist reach out to you. So I'm like, I butt in. I'm like, this is bullshit. I've been trying to get a specialist on this damn phone for 2 months. Like, no, transfer us. This is the bank. Like, this is a real deal. She's like, I can't do three-way calls. Ma'am, you're gonna have to call back on your own. I just got gypped. Like, I just got scammed. Delete it. Delete your payment info. Please listen, people. They just stole money from me and got away with it.
Y'all, one time I was being delusional, but I didn't realize it until 10 minutes ago. And this happened like 5 years ago. I had met this dude on Tinder. He was cute, cool, but he lived an hour and a half away in Mississippi. I live in Alabama. Somehow, I don't know how I had his address, y'all. I really don't. You know where I'm going with this. I know that we talked about meeting up or visiting at some point, but it never really came to fruition. And then one day I just up and decided to go to his house with no warning. Surprise! I had my own pillow and everything with me. He let me stay the night, and then he wasn't really rocking with me after that. And I left my pillow. It was a good pillow too. I didn't leave it so that I had a reason to come back. I left it because I have the attention span of a squirrel. So I hit him up saying I left my pillow. You know what he said to me? I'll mail it to you.